Yep.
Hey everyone, Kathy Beal of EmpowermentUnlimited.net here with Anthony Mikolojeski, psychic medium and intuitive, and a colleague of mine in Best American Psychics. And Anthony, several months ago, met with me and Louise Eddington on our weekly political astrology analysis. And I thought it would be really interesting to compare what the astrology is saying to what Anthony is picking up these days. And I would just want to start with hi, thank you so much for taking the time. I know you're really busy right now.
Yeah, thank you, Kathy. Yeah, I'm getting ready to go to Lilydale and teach. I leave tomorrow, so I'm excited. I'll be teaching for 3 days and getting a chance to see some friends and some colleagues and um, you know, new faces. So it'll be great. But thank you for having me. I appreciate it. I'm glad I could have the time to do it.
Yay, we just kind of sandwiched this in. All right, so I just want to start with the astrological framework for the next couple of months is putting everybody into a very different way of being in the world. We're in massive new energy. It's very fiery, it's very quick, and that's going to really ramp up in July. We've got astrological configurations playing together that none of us who are currently alive have ever experienced. And they're also in the collective combination unprecedented. So a lot of things appear to be going one way and they're all going to get shaken up crazy. I keep seeing an amusement park ride called the Himalaya. Anyone been on that? Goes on a circular track and it goes up and down and up and down. And at one point they go, whoa, and send it backwards. That's where I think we are. So how does that track with or clash with what you're picking up?
Well, Kathy, I don't know if anyone's been watching, but the sun has been spitting out just so much different energy towards the earth, and we have been seeing, the aurora borealis. Excuse me, I'm going to
Mhm.
pronounce it right. In in times, I mean, throughout the whole year, this has been happening, and also it's being shown that the sun, the way that this is expressing itself, and the energy that it's sending out to our magnetic field, um, usually creates earthquakes and volcanoes and just disruptness. It's all about things erupting and getting to the surface, and that's kind of what the energy is. Now, the magnetic field on the Earth right now is being shown scientifically that it has diminished. For whatever reason, it's diminished at this time. Um, so we're getting, not only the sun's energy, but I feel, when I look at, like, what creates the earth, and I believe in God, source, energy, creator, however you believe, but I do believe that there's this higher source in universal power, right? And I believe we are getting hit with this light from universal energies from all different directions towards the earth. It is creating us to have you know, a DNA awakening because we have what, 24 chromosomes in our bodies. Is that right, Kathy? Pretty much,
I don't
right?
remember.
Okay, so as of 2000 years ago, it kind of sort of like disconnected us with our higher self or our multidimensional being. And now it seems like this is about reenacting, or I'm sorry, reactivating this DNA that we have, right? Um, and it's more about, in that DNA, I think it's like allowing us to have more intuition. Our clairs are going to be activated, our claircognizance, our clairsentience, clairaudience. Um, there's just all these things that are happening, and I just noticed that more people are looking collectively for answers outside the traditional way of thinking.
Hmm.
Okay. And this is like I said to most of my clients, this is the age of reveal. So everything is being revealed. The veil is being lifted. And so this is why we're able to see this corruption like 4 or 5 times a day, where we get on the news and we're like, oh my gosh, there's another thing. And oh my gosh, there's another thing. I mean, it's just so overwhelming emotionally to think that why would these people do these horrible things, take away our services, our rights, the laws that they're trying to take away that have been in place, that people have, sacrificed their lives for in history to, not only our country, but the world. And so what we're finding is that our governments are not serving the people.
Hmm.
And we're realizing that all over the world. I don't know if you've noticed, but
Oh,
there
yeah.
is people protesting. Even Great Britain now is having a huge upset with between their government not supporting the people. Okay. And and so my intake on this is that the people have to take responsibility for ourselves. We have been allowing others to tell us, I mean, for a while, I think, there were people, a lot more people, and there's more balance with looking at both sides of the coin, but I don't really think that's there anymore. We've allowed people to get in there that have, in my opinion, shouldn't be in office. They don't have the experience to be in office. They don't have the mental capacity to be balanced to be in office. You have to have mental capacity. I mean, you have to have a conscience and you have to know the difference between right and wrong. And I think that we have come to that point where that's why we're so I mean, when people talk about the divide, excuse me, um, it's not just the divide politically; it's the divide energetically. It's like
Right.
I want to be in a world where I choose to be in this beautiful world that I want to live in with harmony and respect for others, to be able to have diversity and grow and learn from others and expand our consciousness. And and if it's one religion or the other, we can learn and embrace. We know there's an objective of coming to light of consciousness with these religions. I mean, yeah, they're different, but it's about treating each other wonderfully and allowing someone to work to treat you as like you would be treating your neighbor and working
Hmm.
together. It's about communities. It's about helping each other. I mean, that's why we're here. As a psychic and a medium, as a medium, I work with the divine and spirit, right? And they're always saying our purpose as humanity is to give back to others, and we're not doing that. Well, I mean, some of us are.
Hmm.
I'm sure our listeners are. I know you and I are. We give back to humanity all the time. And you can be in service to humanity. So you can be a nurse, you could be a dentist, you could be an attorney. You've done law there for many, many years, Kathy. Before I was a medium, I did hair for many years. And so we give service back to humanity. We're giving back. But we need to give back differently. We need to give back from our heart and understand that um, giving back is an awareness of when you make these decisions in your life, you're not just thinking about yourself, you're thinking about the bigger picture. How's this going to affect others with my decision or what I say?
You have absolutely just spelled out most of the current astrological energies. And the north node of the moon, which is the path we're heading toward, in the sign of Pisces, the collective, the greater good. So thank you. I will confirm what you're saying is what astrology is saying. Nudge, nudge, go do
Oh,
this.
I'm glad I'm hearing it right.
No, no, of course you're hearing it
But
right. Yeah.
yeah, and I just want to say to the viewers, it's going to get more chaotic. Okay, we think it's chaotic now. In July, it's going to get more chaotic. I'm sorry to tell you all that, but I have to tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. So However, I do think there's a huge turning point by the end of August. I'm thinking maybe even October. Between August and October, there's a huge shift. I don't see the orange one in office, and I don't see him on the planet. Just going to say it.
Oh, that part. Okay.
Okay. I just
But the
don't. I see.
but the whole cast of characters goes. It's not just
Oh,
him
yeah. Oh, yeah.
in
Absolutely.
terms
There's
of
because
leaving
everyone's going
office.
to be, yeah, everyone's going to be throwing each other under the bus like they always do, right? Once the person who has the immunity is gone, then the ship crumbles because they don't have immunity. Then becomes there's going to be a lot of information coming out. Um, and my guides have told me that it's going to be revealed, and then there's going to be investigations. And once the investigations start happening, they're going to start defending themselves and pointing the blame on each other, right? And it's going to happen very fast. I don't know if you've noticed, Kathy, but the time just seems to be going so much faster. It's like everything's to be, it's like someone stepped on the accelerator and we're like, wow.
Yeah.
But I tell all of you, it's so important to know that um, there's a bigger picture. There's a divine intervention happening here. Um,
And it's
and
global. It's global,
it
right?
it is global. It's not just here. So we're going to have, um, we have three major players. Uh, the president of Israel, is it Ne? How do you say his name? Neo.
Netanyahu.
There we go. Thank you. I'll let you. I always screw it up. Putin and Trump, all three, I was told, are going to be gone within a window, a short window of each other. Okay. So um, that's going to change the world dynamics completely.
Hmm.
Um, and a lot's going to be revealed from that. Uh, the most important thing is that we have to take responsibility as the people, and we have to regain that power, and really go into the research and the interest of who is representing us in power. I mean, we have to have leaders to run, to run our government, to run other governments. Um, but you need somebody who's representation of the people. And to me, our constitution will probably be rewritten. I think our justice system will probably be rewritten. It has to, because we can't allow this to happen again, right?
Hmm.
And we have now people who have become greedy and, in a sense, become criminals, and doing criminal actions in government. And we're seeing this worldwide, where they're not taking the interest in the people. They're only worried about the money. And um, I really think the age of the oligarchs are going to be gone. I don't think they're going to be gone on the earth, but I think the whole focus of the planet, collectively, for most people, is going to be that there's more to life than just a lot of money. So I don't think that this, you know, um, grabbing as many marbles as you possibly can, and as many toys, and is not going to bring you happiness. Okay. Well, we see that with the person running our country. He has everything at his disposal, and he chooses to be the nasty side. There's a decision to be this way. You understand? Um, People have a right, they have a right to be whatever they want. They have free will, but there's a choice that's going on here. You have a choice to be a certain way, and you can have all the toys and all the accessibility that you want and still be miserable and unhappy.
We're certainly
And
seeing
that's really being shown to us, right? um And I think the other thing is that these people don't care about us. And some of these people who are billionaires that own these corporations or have interest in these corporations, uh, they're not caring about us. All they want is the money. And money's a great thing. And I know that you have a great relationship with money. I know that because I can see that in your org field, Kathy. Um, but we can't be greedy with it, and we can't fear it, and we can't hate it. Um, it's a currency, and it's how you look at money. So to me, I look at money that I need to live. I need to feed myself and pay my bills, and but I also feel that there's enough money for all of us to be successful. Um, working as a medium, it's very competitive, and I know even in astrology that in your world, Kathy, with other astrologists, it's we all are somewhat competitive to some degree. But I think when you're really professional and you've really reached that pinnacle, you're not being competitive anymore. You're just worried about your doing your own work and your own intentions behind what you're doing and keeping those intentions high because you're not only an example to your other colleagues, but you're an example to the people that you're working with, right? How
Hmm.
wonderful is that? And that's why, yeah, there's definitely other mediums that are equally as good as myself or better, right? But there's enough people to go around, and that's the whole philosophy or the insight of consciousness that we have to support each other, not be in this cutthroat, um, cutting your colleagues out or cutting the competition out, so that you can take all the money for yourself. And that's what these people and these corporations are doing.
Well, let me give you a little piece of astrological information that I think
Yeah,
you'll
I
find
want to hear. I want
fascinating. We're in the first
to.
recurrence of Pluto in the sign of Aquarius, which has to do with reallocation of power and money. And the last time that Pluto was in Aquarius, the concept of the middle class emerged in France when there was that massive income disparity between the aristocracy and everybody else. And everybody else stood up and said no. And it was an unpleasant and very messy way to get to it, but there was much more of a leveling, and the notion of the middle class arose. There were actual documents written about democracy. The concept existed well before then, but the statements of it came then, and the Industrial Revolution came then. So we're in a recurrence of that now, and it's starting with the very few people with the biggest amounts of money exerting incredible power and influence and taking all our data for one thing, and a lot of other people going, no. So I think people's spending habits have already been reshaped significantly. The number of people who have pulled out of supporting businesses that have been convenient previously, but they don't want to have anything to do with them now. And that speaks to what you're talking about. Like to look at the impact of, well, conscious consuming, I guess the way to put it, look at the impact of what you're doing with your money.
Absolutely. You hit it right on the nail. And I see it already that people are like I drove past Target like a couple of weeks ago and the parking lot was, you know, not even half full. I mean, people are really making choices of where they're spending their money. Um, like I had a massage about a week ago. I've been going regularly now because with everything re-energizing ourselves, it's important for us to do that. And she's been very busy. I mean, she says, "Oh my God, I've had such a surge of, people, coming in for a massage because they're like, I'm spending the money on me." And I've had that with even my clients, with my appointments, and they're like, I'm not an inexpensive medium to see. However, I'm not, outrageously expensive. I feel that I'm pretty fair for what I do because, you connect with that divine maybe once every year or 2 years or maybe even 3 years. It's not like a haircut where you're going to see the client every 6 weeks. So and it's a sacred connection, you know. And so people are looking for guidance, they're looking for help. They're saying to me, what's going on in the world. They want to reconnect with their loved ones on the other side. Um, a lot of it's all healing or maybe just having comfort to know that they're doing okay and to prove that they're still around you now. So it's a beautiful thing. But back to what we are saying, I still hear from my clients, I needed to do this for me, um, it's about empowering oneself. It's about re-energizing. It's about taking care of yourself. Um, Whether even if that's going to the gym or going for a walk in the woods or going for a hike to ground yourself because of everything that's going on. It's overwhelming energetically.
And doesn't it feel at times like our someone has gone to war against us? So that
Absolutely.
there's a different way of how you make it through the day, knowing that.
This is a energetic spiritual war between good and evil, and that's what is happening. That's the final straw of it. I truly believe that. I
Hmm.
do. Um, because, like I said, everyone has free will. So what's happening is that the divine has told me that this is a bigger picture, a bigger collective picture that we're not given all the information. Um, and they are definitely saying, we have you and hang in there. It's unfolding. It's a divine unfoldment of its own. And we have to trust. Okay. That's what they said. We have to trust that it's unfolding for a reason. If it unfolds too soon, there's going to be a bigger population, especially in the United States, that has not been convinced that they have been fooled or the rug's been pulled from underneath them. Now, I do believe that some individuals will kiss the gold sneaker until he passes, and they probably will still kiss the gold sneaker till they pass. But I think the majority of those people will feel it economically. They will feel it energetically, and um, and they're going to feel it spiritually. And it's on their own timing.
Hmm.
It's like everybody has a soul um, timeline or unfoldment. I can say this about my mediumship that I always knew I was psychic, but I had no idea I was a medium. I'm a late bloomer. And it needed to unfold for me personally when I was mature enough to handle the responsibility and the sacredness of doing mediumship.
Hmm.
Okay. Um, but all my experiences with doing hair and my life experiences with that, my clients, my travels, celebrities, and so on and so forth, gave me the knowledge to work with people and their situations so that I can relate to it to get me prepared to do the work as a medium. So it was an unfoldment.
Hmm.
And I think it's like that for everybody on the planet, whether it be um, what they're doing in their work, but it's also in their spiritual consciousness. There's an unfoldment that needs to take place when the soul is ready for it to unfold. And it's a time sensitive thing, right? So always remember that. Like I know that we can look at it and go, oh my gosh, like are these people ever going to realize, what's going on? Yeah, most of them will. And the only way they're gonna realize it is when it's happening to them. Okay. It has to be in their own circle and their own bubble for them to realize, because you and I are thinking about the awareness around us and the consciousness and how it affects the world and so on and so forth. They're not thinking that way. They only think about themselves and their own family, and that's it. Okay. Or their own community. They're not thinking, they don't care about Italy. They don't care about this. They don't care about that. This is going to make them realize that they do need to care, because once it happens to them, they're going to go, oh, well, now I'm part of this group collectively where everybody is being affected by this. Does it make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense. And
Hmm.
to tie what I'm thinking with things that you've been saying, this underscores the importance for everybody to get calm and quiet and regroup and get to know what the sound of your own voice is, what the sound of your own guidance is, so that you're
Mm.
operating in a clear way when you respond to whatever is going on, and that you're not listening to something that you come across on social media and go half-cocked and do something really insane. Uh, I think navigating a
Navigating
community
a
like that,
community.
something very strange just happened with the sound. Okay. Navigating a community with like that seems to be seems to require being very, very calm. I hit the point where when I walk into my grocery store, I can just look at people and go, you watch Newsmax and you watch Newsmax and you watch Fox and you watch Newsmax and oh my God, look, someone like me and you watch, you know, it's really there is a vibe coming off of people that's really
Yes.
palpable. And you live in a place where that should be pretty obvious too.
Yes. And I, how many times am I going to say I? I look at it this way. I go out into the world, and what I try to project is kindness. Reaching out, I think the only way we're going to get to a point is reaching out to people and being kind, doing kind things for others, um, being part of your community, reaching out to your neighbors, getting to know people. Um, it's going to give you a sense of belonging, and there's that like-mindedness when you're kind to others.
Hmm.
When I do sometimes demonstrations in front of audiences, I've had a few hecklers in my, there might be 100 people in the audience, and um, I'll have a heckler, and someone screamed out one time, "Well, I'm a Trump supporter, and my husband died the day after he got the COVID vaccine, and I don't care what anybody thinks, and he was perfectly fine." And she was screaming in the
Mm.
audience. Okay. And I thought the only way I could diffuse that is to give her compassion. And so I reached out to her in the audience and I said, I am so very sorry to hear about your husband's passing, which I do feel,
Hmm.
right? Um, and I'm sure he had some kind of reaction to his vaccine, because vaccines affect people differently. It's just like medication.
Hmm.
I'm so sorry for your loss. And we all collectively are sending you beautiful healing energy to you and your family for your loss. And it squashed it. Do you understand?
Yeah.
It squashed that tyrant, angry energy that she was projecting. Right. And I didn't want it to be about trying to prove something to somebody, yeah, or making her feel less important in the audience. She paid for a ticket to come see me. I have to respect her. And so there's that balance. And I think that's what I'm trying to say to all of you. Um, and you would agree, Kathy, is that we have to sometimes take a stand back and give that person compassion and empathy. And we hear you because they want to be heard. And they in return then can say, that person was so kind to me. That may open a window of listening, you see.
But don't make that be the goal because you can't force the outcome.
No, you can't force the outcome. That's what I'm trying to say. But you see, it's about how you were able to take control of that situation that could have turned very horrible, right? And I'm just using that as an example, but going up to a grocery store, you could have a conflict in the parking lot or in the grocery store with people who are angry right now. So, um, I say that to the viewers, just um, be able to calm it down from your heart space and not your head space, because that's what we're missing is the spiritual connection between each other, and we need to embrace and reach out with our heart. And when you're reaching out from your heart, the other person will always feel it. Okay, so I leave that with you.
If I might, before we thank you for that, I happen to agree with all of it. I find that my fairy hair brings delight in the strangest situations, so I just walk around and sparkle, and people everywhere just go, "Where'd you do that? Oh, I want it! Oh, oh." So that's one thing I do. But are there any topics, people, situations you feel comfortable commenting on and playing out over the course of the summer? As we're recording this, there is a lot of stuff that's very volatile in the world right now. I personally do not believe that we are on the brink of blowing the planet up, but people are freaked out. Anything or anybody you care to give an energy read about?
Um, well, I the war that's going on between Israel and Iran, I think there will be some type of peace treaty, coming up between the two of them, because it's not going anywhere. I mean, they're not by blowing each other up doesn't accomplish anything. Um, so I think that will come to an end pretty abruptly. I think it'll happen and it'll just stop. Um, And I do feel that I was looking at Trump and Hegseth during the parade and their energy. Um, you know, to me, I was getting that Trump felt like he was revisiting a new, um, well, I should say not a new, but an old memory of being humiliated by his father by watching the attendance being so low for the parade. And the protests basically said, no, we're not watching you. And no, we're not putting up with this. Right. And I mean, he was just disgusted and humiliated during the whole thing. Um, And like I said, the resurface of those memories of being humiliated by his father, for as a medium, I could see that all in his energy. And that's why he has that feeling that he has to be so abrupt. And so what he thinks a man should do is like showing the power and showing the toys and showing the money. But there's no balance with the love, the compassion, the empathy, the patience that is needed to be a real man. Um, so, and it's sad to watch that from that human being, but I don't really think it's going to change. Hegseth, on the other hand, didn't look like he wanted to be there. I don't think I think he feels like, what the heck did I do? I mean, he had a good paying job before he took this job, and was paid very well. Did well. Um, but now he's going to be cornered, because I feel what he's doing now, and this is just my intake from my spirit guides, but he's doing something behind the scenes that is treasonous. And I think that some deals across the water, which is meaning overseas, is going to come to light. And from what my guides are telling me, um, yeah, his career is gonna end. I mean, and Trump's gonna blame him for this, right? Like he always does. But I do feel though, this is part of this regime, crumbling. And it's crumbling right now. So I say to your viewers, stay patient, stay strong, stay in your light, stay balanced, take time out energetically for a couple days when you get overwhelmed with everything, but don't get stuck in your head. Um, and stay in your love and light. We need more light in the planet and more love. And putting out that beautiful energy is going to help accelerate this and get this done and over with. Um, and what else did I get from him? Um, hmm. Yeah, there's some kind of contracts or treasonous contracts that Hegseth has done. Something that's coming to the surface very quickly. And it'll be a lot of information coming forward. Um, and also, um, all the ones like Christy Nome also, that's I kind of tapped into her energy. And she's her energy is very similar to Trump's in a lot of ways, where she feels like she needs to have her power to bully, and it's all insecurity that's coming to the surface in that person. But it's not going to be a good year for her either. So yeah. Yeah, so everyone hang in there. It's going to be better. I would think by the time Thanksgiving comes, we're going to feel so much better. We're going to be sitting at the dinner table talking about all of what just unfolded because there's going to be a lot of information unfolding. A lot of information that will shock us, believe it or not.
I
I
keep
mean, we've
hearing
been
that.
shocked. Hmm.
Based on
Yeah,
what we already know, what could it be? Well, I have some ideas. And a
yeah,
lot of this is gonna come from overseas, right?
it
That seems to
is.
be. I think a lot of people, a lot of highly positioned people in countries that we have traditionally been allies with know things.
Absolutely, they do. And that's where the information's coming from. That's what I was told. And there's a lot going on behind the scenes of collecting this information. Um, and some of it's through the airways. There's just because we're all about the air right now. Um, Even in astrology, that
It's
like
it fits
it's it's
astrologically.
it's astrological in the air, and it's about communications and airwaves and listening in. So there's a lot of that going on. So I kind of feel like that's pretty much it.
Well,
It's a lot.
it's an awful lot, and I really, really appreciate it, especially because you're on the brink of leaving town. Thank you so very much for all of your information. Could you tell people where they can find you?
Yes, you can find me at my website at asheville.medium.com. You can look at my 2025 events page with my classes that I'm teaching this year and events coming up. I'll be in Colorado let's see, in August. So I'll be teaching an intro mediumship class. So if there's anyone in the Denver area want to join in, I'll be doing also a live demonstration of mediumship, and we'll be doing some table tipping, and I'll be doing some personal one-on-one readings while I'm there in Denver. Um, and let's see. I'll be back from Lilydale the first week in July. So if you are thinking about booking an appointment with me, I won't be available until the first week of July. But you can find me on Facebook, Anthony R. Mikolojeski. I'm on Instagram, the Asheville/Medium. Let's see, where else can you find me? I'm on Google at Anthony Mikolojeski Psychic Medium, so you can read my reviews there. And I think that's it. But anyhow, I want to let your viewers know, besides psychic and mediumship readings, I do animal communication in spirit for animals, and then also the living. I do sound healing. I'm certified through the James von Prague Mystical School of Mystical Arts. I've studied with Tony Stockwell and Mavis Patilla. I've been to Arthur Finley College, which is a
Hogwarts.
prestigious, yeah, Hogwarts, yeah. And let's see, I have a past life regression certification, which I use mainly in my readings. I do some medical intuitive uh, that I get from my guides when doing readings. So I'm not a doctor or claiming to be one, but I always tell my clients to follow up with a professional practitioner. And I get the most analytical people in my chair. So there you go.
Well, I really, really appreciate your taking the time to talk with us. So have a great time at Lilydale. I look forward to seeing your posts about it.
Yeah, Kathy, thank you. You're amazing. You're an amazing astrologer and amazing person, and I just think beautiful soul. And thank you so much for having me.
Oh, back at you, Anthony. Okay. Bye, everybody.
Bye bye, everyone.